When I was born in West Virginia back in 1936, what I heard on the radio stations was all hillbilly music. And then one day I heard a piece of music that made me weep, and it was the New World Symphony by Anton Dvorak. Totally blew my young 3-year-old mind. I think that's when I started seriously listening to the wildlife outside the window. I listened to crickets, and I listened to the different times of day and night. And wherever I went, I listened. The thing that really profoundly rearranged my whole perspective was having, by this time, been drafted into an Army band. One of our gigs was at the Nevada Proving Grounds, and so just picture pre-dawn Nevada. You're standing out there with your horn playing Sousa marches from memory, and 7 miles away, an atomic bomb goes off. And I watched 3 of them that year. What you realize is it's insane enough to think about dropping a bomb like that on a city. But when you drop it out in the desert, you're taking out the entire biotic community. And that's insanity. And I feel that to a large measure, currently, our human species is badly out of sync with the flow of reality. That also turned me into a non-card carrying anarchist. And I've known a few other anarchists, including Edward Abbey. So anyway, that was how I got into doing hardcore radical environmentalism. I tried to interview different birds. One day I pulled out my horn. It was early in the morning. I went over and sat down on this one point where I could just look out over this beautiful, expansive forest, and I started playing. And I played a jazz riff, and I stopped for a second, and a turkey started to gobble. And so I played another jazz riff, and the turkey gobbled back at me. And I did it again and again, and pretty soon a coyote joined in. So for about 20 minutes, this turkey and coyote and I played a jazz sonata. And it was so wonderful. I mean, what it did to my head was let me realize that here is interspecies communication. And that was when I thought up the word biophany, a symphony of biological organisms that are germane to the ecosystem where you happen to be at that moment in time. I want to keep hearing because that's what centers me. If your habitat is comprised of car horns and sirens and the sounds of city, and that sound of the city kills any possible ability to hear the natural world, then you're berefting yourself of that ability to really be in tune. Listening to biophonies has become a philosophic system for me. It's actually evolved into a whole perspective. I feel like I have a relatively good memory, but I have an archive of an amazing array of sound, whether it's folk music from Hispano culture or some Indian culture, or whether it's different habitats. But I have interviewed hundreds of people whose perspectives each represent a different purview. And all I have to do at this point is look at the index of all of those people's names that I've recorded. And that's provided me with a philosophic perspective that's unbelievably rich, because I've talked to everybody. I don't see myself as having a personal legacy, but I see a collection of sounds that I recorded over the years. Boy, all of those perspectives really give me a meaningful sense of where our species is coming from and where we could go if we let ourselves, if we just used some both individual and cultural self-discipline. But it's not my legacy, it's the legacy of all of the people with whom I've spoken over these many years. It's their stuff. I'm just this guy who recorded it.